my pleasure to be here. I want to just start by doing the most important thing when you're with royalty. And you know you're with royalty because we're in the presence of the Queen. And who is the Queen? Liz King, Queen of Events. Liz King, give it up for her, please. And we want her to just know how grateful we are for all that she's done to teach all of us such amazing things about the world of events and event planning. So let's give it up for her. Liz, thank you so much for all you've done. And she has taught me personally so much about how to put together events. And you should know that how I got to know her was that she volunteered to help me with my first big project. And that was a decade ago. And she's gone on to such amazing things. I'm so proud of you, Liz, and all you've done. So thank you. And let's also thank the entire team and the most energetic man at 8 in the morning here, Sean Patrick. Give it up for them also, please. So I'm delighted to be here with all of you and to talk a little bit about something you know much more about than me, and that's the world of event planning and how you can use digital and social better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some slides, but it's not about the slides. It's about thinking about how the world has changed in these last 10 years and what are the things we need to do to get better at using technology in what we are doing. So as this comes up here, I'm just going to make sure that, let's see if we can, here we go. Oops, sorry. You're also going to see my voicemail from my kids and everything, folks. How many of you have been to a presentation from a phone before? Okay, some of you have, and some of you have not. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, it's okay. We will switch. But the reason I put the phone on here and I'm presenting from the phone, and you can see it's not working quite right, but that's okay. Don't look carefully at it. You might get a seizure. So we'll try to fix that if they can, but that's okay. The reason I'm doing this, I'm showing it to you on the phone, is because that's where not just the future is, the current is. And we all need to be doing more with our phones. And you should know that I'm not just presenting off the phone. This entire presentation was made on the phone. Why is that? Because our consumers are on their phones all the time. And we are producing content on these beautiful desktop machines. Some of us have 2 screens, 3 screens, right? But we need to be thinking about how we can do this on our phones. And I use a tool, you might recognize this. This is, what is this? Google Slides, right? And the reason I've done that is because Google Slides allows you to make everything you see here interactive. So you can click and see things, and you can put that together. So I encourage you to play around with your phones and use them more. And I want to thank the group of people who came with me on a Instagram walkabout this morning, a walking workshop. If you were there, raise your hand, folks. And one of them, I will not call her out, but said it was the best 15 minutes of her life. And I was flabbergasted and honored, but I said we need to improve your life. And we will work on that side. On the side, we'll talk to some friends of ours. But just think about that. And it wasn't because of anything else that there's so much technology in our lives. There's so much going on. You often don't get a chance to think about the technology. And that's what we did for those 15 minutes. And please find them and ask them for tips. You can see that the tweets are coming in. It's pretty funny when that happens. I want you to join my Facebook group, which is, you can see on there, it's Sree's Advanced Social Media. Some of you are already members. Liz was an early member. And this is a group of 7,000 people who use social media in their work. These are people who have taken my classes, but also very senior people at Facebook, at Twitter, at LinkedIn, the founder of Foursquare. They're all in there. So that means you can ask a question, and someone somewhere will answer your question right away in the world. So that's why I encourage you to use that. And this is a slide that has all the slides that I would have shown you if I had more time. And what you're seeing here is the slides for this particular session. Now, if you go to @Sree right now on Twitter, I have shared the slides. I have shared the video, live video, so you can go in there and just hit retweet. I would appreciate that. Just a quick retweet on @Sree on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you can do that. And that way, all your followers will get the tips and the tools and everything else together. So you can just do that. You have my email address, which is sree@sree.net. And you also have my Instagram, which is SreeNet, Facebook, etc., LinkedIn. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Raise your hand. Look around you. How many of you know what you're doing? See the hands fall, right? Some of you are strong. If you've got a good LinkedIn game, raise your hand. Be proud. These are my LinkedIn heroes. Everybody needs to get better at LinkedIn. That's one of the things that I would say. Look, freckles for good followed me back. I think that's a good thing. You always want to use freckles for good, not freckles for bad. And what I would recommend over these 10 years, one of the things that's changed is the value of LinkedIn. And all of us think LinkedIn is a job hunting tool. It's a career management tool. I want every 9th grader to have a LinkedIn account and use it for the rest of their lives. And how do you test it? Take one thing you're going to post on Facebook, put it on LinkedIn, and see what happens. The amount of data you get back, information. You guys are in the event planning business, which is a human business, a connections business, so you can easily connect and use that. So I'm going to see if I can get out of this mode where it's sharing everything I'm talking about. I mean, all the tweets are coming. Now it's going to be better. So please use LinkedIn more, and please connect with me on it. And please join my Facebook group and also sign up for my newsletter. And all my best tips are on one page at the link at the bottom. So again, if you have the link at the top and the link at the bottom, you're all set. You've got everything. You can go out right now and get a drink. And there's some beautiful food outside, so please go ahead and do that. And I would say that as you're thinking about this, that whenever I start teaching, I always start with ABC, always be charging your phone. Who here is charging their phone right now? Everybody is, right? And you've got nice places right in front of you. Always be carrying a charger. 1, 2, 3. Anybody need a charger? Right? Why is that important? Because your phone is no longer just like a device, right? It is the most important device you own. And you should always be charging your phone. And here's a tip. Many of you in the event business give out chargers. Which are the chargers you give out? The little lipstick size ones, right? And I'm just going to switch out of this so you can look at it like this. But this means I have to be very vigilant on the emails coming through and the texts for my kids and things like that. Why is it that I want you to think about what you give away as a tchotchke, as a swag item? The ones that are lipstick size are not actually useful. Why? Because they only have one light indicating whether they're charged or not. Instead, you always want to buy one that has the 4 indicators, right? The 4 buttons, the light up. So make sure if you talk to your vendors, tell them that you want something that has the 4 rather than the on or off, because the on or off doesn't tell you whether it will be useful or not. And they'll curse your brand instead of praising it. When they get it, they're very happy. But then when they use it and it dies on them unexpectedly, they will curse your brand. And this happened to me. One of the world's biggest brands gives away lipstick ones. I was so excited. And then I used it, and it died right halfway through when I thought I would be using it, and I was cursing them. So don't let that happen to you. You heard a wonderful presentation about thinking how to take charge of your life, and I think that's really important. We'll talk about that, my angle on that. Always be charging, always be connecting, and that's what I encourage you to do, all of you connecting on LinkedIn and sharing information and connecting with each other as much as you can. And finally, always be collecting is really important. Using your phone as a collection device, that's why you are taking pictures of this shot, of the screen, so that you'll have everything that you need later. You heard if you read my bio, you saw that I was a professor for 21 years, and I was chief digital officer. I had all these great jobs, but I also had a rough time when I lost my job. And I lost it when I got reorged. I got reorged twice in 12 months from high-profile jobs. I do not recommend that for anybody. I gained a lot of character, but not a lot of, it was not a good time. But one of the things that saved me was the use of social media. And as you can see here, I took to Facebook and told my friends that I was leaving and asked them what I should do next. And people gave me really good ideas, really awful ideas, and some bad ideas. But 1,400 people filled in this form, which is pretty amazing. And I felt like this global digital hug. So you can click and read that, or go into the PBS NewsHour and watch that video about making your own luck. Like someone said, oh, you're so lucky that you got interviewed, but there's no luck, right? You make your own luck, and that's really important. So as you heard from the previous speaker, the value of kind of taking charge for yourself, I want to take you back to the fall of 1981. And I wanted to have a slide that Liz has never seen before, because Liz has sat through this 20 times. And this is just for you, Liz. And this is the fall of 1981. This is up near Columbia, West 109th Street. And a student was moving to New York. And he there was no email, there was no fax, there was no Twitter. So what did he do? He wrote a letter saying, I'm coming to his new roommate. And his roommate, when he came there to this apartment, his roommate wasn't there. So he's just banging on the door, and no roommate. He keeps trying, and then he gives up, and he takes his suitcase and goes out into the alley and spends his first night in America on that suitcase. And you know where this is going, because 27 years later, he became President of the United States. And you think about, you see a black man in your hallway banging on a door. Do you say, wow, there goes the next President of the United States. How can I help him? Or do you think something else, especially in 1981? You then, later on that day, you come back around and you see in your alley, there's a black man asleep on top of a suitcase. Do you think, wow, there's the next President of the United States? You don't, right? So I want you to think about this idea that you never know what is going to happen to any of us, and where we're going and what's going to happen, and be open and generous and connected to people the way Liz is, and bringing people together. Be as open as you can and believe in the best in everybody. And that's one of the things that I have learned along this way. I learned it the hard way in some ways, but that was the way, in fact, I learned. In terms of social media, these are the 4 things that I believe social media can do for you. And I find that most people, most professionals use 1 or 2 of these things, but don't think about all of them. So take a picture of this and then see how you can add this to your repertoire online, and so you can get better at this. But social media also has problems. You know about this? Tech neck? Does everybody know what that is? That's from looking at your phone like this all day, right? So a tip on that, please raise your heads, right? You still work on your phone, but raise your head. So this is how I use my phone, especially when I'm walking around in my apartment. I walk around like this. It looks a little weird because it looks like you're filming the world. And so look up. If you can't do that, just turn the angle just a little bit. Will move your neck up. Why? Because your bowling ball weight, which is your head, is going to hurt your neck and your back and everything. So please look up. Don't look away from your phone, but look up as much as you can. And by the way, here's an app that you may want to check out called Moment. Has anybody tried this? Moment. And what it does, it tells you how many times you've touched your phone and how long you've used it that day. You do not want to do this, actually, because it will be very depressing. The other day, I was on my phone for 13 hours. Why? Because I try not to use my laptop. In fact, you heard our previous speaker is going to Greece. I'm going to Baltimore. And I'm actually just going to Baltimore. I'm carrying nothing but my phone and all my battery packs, and no bag or anything. So I try to do all my work on my phone. FOMO, you know what that is, and then loneliness. And you can insert any societal crisis can be blamed on social media, and that's sort of what's happening right now. Some of you have seen these pictures before. This is from the way the world has changed from 2005 to 2013. This is the Vatican. And you see the one guy in the top right who has a Nokia phone. Do you see him in that photograph? And the bottom. What would be the difference between 2005, 2013, and 2018? What would be the difference right now? What would be happening at the Vatican right now? Selfie sticks. What else? GoPros, and just live video, right? And live video is not just Facebook Live. What else is there? There's Twitter Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live. Right? There's so many tools that are out there, and I want you to remember this as you're thinking about technology and the world. I have to tell you that I'm a big admirer of the current Pope. I think he's very cool, really fun, but sometimes he's unfair. Why is he unfair? He's offering time off of, I was going to say time off of puberty. No, not puberty. Time off of purgatory if you follow him. So if you're not Catholic, there's heaven, hell, and there's limbo or purgatory, and he's giving you time off of that. And I'm saying, right. And so what he's offering here is pretty amazing and really unfair. Like, how are we going to compete? We're trying to like promote our little event and get people to follow us on our little Twitter account, and he's doing this. But I got to tell you, I'm not Catholic, but I'm not taking a chance. I'm Hindu, and in case this reincarnation thing doesn't work out, I'm following him on all platforms. There are 8 platforms, 8 languages. I encourage you to do that so you don't have anybody to blame if this happens. Now, you should know that Liz gets the world's best speakers, most influential speakers, except for me. In my case, Liz got us the 120,000th most important person on Twitter is here for you. Aren't you excited? Right? Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Now you can see I was actually going in the right direction. I was at 84,000, and then I was at 76,000, but then I fell back. What happened? It's because every day there are thousands of micro celebrities and real celebrities in every language, in every platform, in every topic who join, and they push us all back down, as you can see here. It's not about the numbers. Thank you very much. Thank you. Being authentic is important. And this is my idea that I want to share with you, that social media is hard. And how hard is it? Here is my dirty little secret of social media. Sorry, let me just see if I can. I'll try one more time to see if I can push this out. If I can't, oh, there it is. This is the dirty secret of social media, that almost everyone will miss almost everything you do. Right? And that's the problem, right? That's the problem with social media, that almost everyone will miss almost everything you do. Now, anybody have any thoughts on why this is the case? There's too much stuff going on, right? You have great material, but people aren't seeing it, right? You had this experience where you created such a great event, and the whole world should see it, but people don't know about it. It's a really difficult thing to do. And I had this happen to me. In 1997, when I was at Columbia, I organized an event, a debate between the head of Handgun Control Inc., which is, and he was also the advisor to Bill Clinton on guns, and the chief lobbyist of the NRA. And we did an event at the journalism school. I thought this was going to be a killer event. It's going to be so great. And guess what happened? 4 people showed up. And 2 of them were guests of the speakers. And it was so embarrassing, but it was 2 weeks before Columbine. After that, everybody wrote to me, every journalist I know, hey, what was that event you invited us to? Who are those speakers? Where can you find them, right? That's what happens, that you do great stuff, but people don't know that you're doing it because there's too much noise. And that was in 97, before all the stuff we have going on now. So that's why I think it's even more important that we are better at social media. It's not enough to be good. You have to be able to use social to get stuff out there. Here was a tweet I did with Jim Acosta, who you folks know on CNN. By the way, one way to practice getting better at social is to say hi to the people I mention on Twitter. So if you say, hi, at Acosta, we're talking about you at Texie Talk, it's a great way to like connect with him, practice with him. I tell people, don't be an ask on social media. There was a K in there, but you may have missed it. And in fact, in Germany, somebody tweeted, Sree says, don't be an ass on social media. It's true, do not be an ass, but that's not what I meant. What I mean is, social media allows you to connect with people before you need them. It's an incredible way for you to change the way you think about connecting with people. So right now, if you just tweet at Acosta, we're talking about you here, you take this picture and show it to him, you're not asking him to come speak at your event, right? You're building a relationship, what I call a low-touch, low-temperature relationship at no cost. Priming the pump for when you need him. So I had 185,000 impressions on this tweet. I thought, man, I'm going to be so successful. I'm going to get so many followers as a result of this. And how many followers did I get? 1 follower, right? There was an episode of Seinfeld where a woman convinces Jerry to wear a puffy shirt on the Today Show. Why? Because she believes if you can just get on the Today Show, everybody will know and you become rich and successful. I've been on the Today Show many times and none of you have ever seen me. I was on TV in New York twice a week, every week for 10 years. Thank you, one person used to watch. My own wife wouldn't watch me. In my own home, nobody would watch me. Like, that's the problem. You think you can just get on TV or just get that one tweet out there, it'll be successful. You will not. Instead, you want to produce great content. And here was a day where I produced great content. I had people loved it. 225 people followed me. I thought, this is the content I want to replicate every day. It's going to be great. And then I realized 158 people unfollowed me on the same content, including a guy who I gave a job to and mentored and helped. And there's this photo right there. I'm not telling you which guy. But like, that's the world we live in now, right? People who you help unfollow you because your content is so awful. It may not be awful, but that's what they do, right? So this is something we want to think about. So here's something that you can do. I want you to think about, I'm also going to ask our team for, the clock isn't counting down, so I don't know exactly where we are in time. But one of the things that I want us to think about is that community we have. How do we connect with them? I'd like you to, if you just take out your notebook or your pencil or whatever, or the computer, and just write down the 5 most influential people in your life. Not the people who are influential to you, but who are influential themselves, right? The most influential people you know that you can either text or call or email, the people who will return your calls who are influential. So why don't you just take a minute and meanwhile, Sean's going to tell me how much time I have left. I have about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay. Everybody done that? Okay. Do all five of those people follow you on social media? Probably not, right? So now you have a homework assignment. Get them to follow you on social, because that's where you have another way to connect and you're seeing their content and they're seeing yours. That's really important. Here's a tool that I recommend to everybody called Triangulate, which is a really good tool. It helps you identify your top 100 followers by influence. Because look at Jeff Jarvis, who many of you know. He's a great professor of journalism at CUNY. He has 150,000 followers, but look how many followers his top 100 followers have. 200 million followers. That's a crazy number, right? So think about how you can go in there and use this for yourself. Find who your 100 most influential followers are, and you'll find that it's useful. So this is a tool called Triangulate, and you can say hi to Jeff Jarvis right now. Tweet at him. And I want to just show you here the scarcest resource of the 21st century. This was said by Les Hinton, publisher of the Wall Street Journal. He's going to book tour this fall. You may want to invite him to your event. So tweet at him right now and say, hey, at Les Hinton, we're talking about you at Techsy Talk. So you can just do that right now. Here's proof how hard it is to get people's attention. I wanted to be a millionaire when I was young. I became a millionaire, but it was all in unread Gmail messages. What is the sadder number on the screen? 1,200 drafts. That's 1,200 parties, 1,200 events, weddings, jobs, consulting gigs, all that have gone away because I didn't bother to answer my own messages. So it's not because I'm so busy or anything else. This is, everybody has some version of this, except what I call inbox zero heroes. Who here is an inbox zero hero, aiming for inbox zero? Look at these people. They're very smart. And I want to recommend to you a tool that's better than, who here's a Gmail fan? Everybody, right? I don't use Gmail. Now, because of this, I use a new tool called Inbox. Anybody using that? It's an app and a website that you can download and access, and it's better than Gmail. You can figure out why it's better by playing with it, but anybody know who created it? Gmail. At the height of its game, it got better, and that's really hard for us. Like if we're on a roll, at the height of our game, we want to keep going, not trying something new. Liz King, at the height of her game, is going to do something new and different and exciting, right? She's also like Seinfeld, leaving at the top. That's what he did. He left when he was #1 show on television. He left. And that's what she's doing here. I know that, unfortunately, Liz, there are people in the room right now who are saying, who's Seinfeld? Like, the show went off there 21 years ago. There are people here who were in diapers 21 years ago. And that makes me feel really old, which is very sad. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook, and then we're going to start wrapping up here. How many of you are using Facebook Legacy Contact? Anybody? One person. Two people, and they're doing each other, I'm sure. Really important, folks. It gives access to someone in your life when you die. And you'll say, oh, this is boring, not important. I'm sorry, but it's really important. I had to organize 2 funerals of people, a 67-year-old and a 14-year-old who died the same year, and neither of them had this, and it caused extra turmoil at the worst possible time. So please do this. 2 requests. Warn the person before you do this, because they'll think you're dying. And second, do not make me your Facebook Legacy Contact. A lot of smart Alex in the room are like, oh, he cares so much. Here you go. Please do not do this. Okay, so who here is going to do this? Raise your hands. You're all lying. You will not do this, right? Even when things are good for you and good for your mom and good for your wife and your kids, you will not do it because life is too busy. You're too busy. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. Next thing we're going to talk about is Facebook See First. One of the biggest problems on Facebook is how much you see all this content that's coming at you, right? And the algorithm is determined by Facebook, not by you. We changed that today. You go into anybody you like, up to 30 people or 30 brands, and make it see first from you. Everybody understand the value of this? This will change your Facebook life today. And many of you didn't know about it because, again, you're busy living your life and doing great work. I have no work. I'm underemployed, so I follow things like this. Questions from anybody about this? And you understand instantly why this is useful. So you go to your friend. You see it says friend, and next to it, right now it says follow. Instead of follow, you can choose see first. And you can choose up to 30 brands and individuals. And you can unfollow, you can change it, but it will change your Facebook life. You don't have to blame anybody else after this. So I'm going to just come out of here and go into my Twitter to just emphasize the importance of how you think about your brand and what you're doing online. One of the points I made on Instagram is that people are super cool on Instagram and don't reveal much about themselves, but as professionals, you want to be found. That's why I want you to use LinkedIn more. But here, look at all the branding opportunities you have, right? You have the photograph as a branding opportunity, the header is a branding opportunity, your name, of course, and now look what you can do. You can actually add so much space next to your name. I'm going to Hong Kong, so I have my name in Chinese. My big event that I do every year, which is 1/10 as good as this, but I'm trying very hard, is called Social Media Weekend. It's June 1 and 2, and you can put information on there. Look at all the stuff you can get in the bio section. And of course, you don't want to put your birth date in there. You're looking at my internal version. That's why you see my actual date of birth. And you can come down here and see all of this stuff. The other branding opportunity is your pinned tweet right here. I'm surprised how few people use a pinned tweet. Whatever's most important in your life, post the pinned tweet right there. And if you do that, then people can see it. I'd love for you all to share this. My weekend's coming up June 1 and 2. We have some amazing speakers, all on social media, experts from Facebook, from Twitter, all of this stuff. So I hope some of you will come. Or if you can't make it, just share it and tell your friends about it. And just hit reshare on there. And then, as I'd said before, if you hit share on this document right here, on this tweet, all your friends and family and enemies can see this as well. So please take a look at that. And so with that, I'm going to just show you my social media success formula, which is the last thing we're going to do before I exit stage right. And this is the formula on how to be really successful on social. So it's just a series of words that we're going to say together. Are you guys ready? Yes, some of you have done this with me before. You've been kind enough to attend more than one of my sessions. So here we go. We're going to say these words out loud together. The first word is helpful. So let's practice and go. Helpful. That was pretty good, but not as good as it could be. I'm going to put away my battery packs right now. And if you hear man electrocuted at, thunderstorm, you'll know that was me. Okay, here we go. We start with the word helpful. Helpful. Louder. Can't hear you. Sing it, sister. Say it, brother.
Actionable. Authentic.
Hallelujah.
Credible. Brief. Entertaining. Fun. Occasionally funny.
Amen. Right? You've never been in a Hindu Catholic church before. That's what we do. So I just want to end here by saying thank you so much for listening and participating. I want to thank Liz and her entire team. I want to congratulate you on pulling a Seinfeld and leaving at the top of your game. Nobody has the guts to do that. That means she's going to do something even bigger. I don't know what it is, but bigger, more exciting, more important. And we're going to follow your success and your career very, very closely. I said that the scarcest resource is human attention, and you gave me 30 plus minutes of your attention. Thank you very much, everybody. See you.